Hey everybody, this is Logan with Bearded Bourbon, and if you are new to the channel, welcome. I'm glad you're here. If you can, please like and subscribe. These videos are something that I do in my spare time, and so subscribing and liking really helps out the channel. And I would love to keep doing videos like this and like the one that's coming up, and I'm really excited about it, and so let's get into it. What's up, everybody? This is Logan with Bearded Bourbon, and today is a pretty cool video because I am going to be reviewing some whiskeys from 13th century whiskey, which comes from a private label, the Private Label Distillery in Colorado Springs, Colorado. So early December. Someone reached out to me. His name was Brandon. Brandon said, I'm the marketing manager for 13th Century Whiskey, and I would love to invite you out to Colorado or to send you some samples. And I knew I wasn't going to make it out to Colorado anytime soon. So I said, I would love it if you would send me some samples, and I would be more than happy to review and make a video. And so this is my video, and I hope I was telling Brandon, like, I'm total noob with video making, with editing and all that stuff, and so I hope I can do right by Brandon. I hope I can do right by the 13th century brand, and so let's get into it. So a little bit about 13th century whiskey. The brand was started on January 3rd, 2014 by a guy named Paul Thomas Dunning, and he had been looking for an innovative way to sell his whiskey, and he noticed that there was a glass agave plant inside of a tequila bottle, and then wondered if a whiskey still would be possible to do in the same way, just like, a little bit different, but like the Double Eagle Very Rare has that eagle, that glass eagle inside of the bottle, kind of the same concept. But they really are trying to pay tribute to a 13th century doctor and professor named Taddeo Alderati. So he was a 13th century physician, professor, and he actually improved the process of fractional distillation. And so what 13th century whiskey is doing, and I think I have a picture of the bottle, and you can see it looks very familiar to like a column still. And so Alderati was able to improve, and I think I read that he was actually able to produce ethanol up to 90%, which I think that's what we do today. I don't know if it goes any higher. But that same process is used in other industries as well. I thought it was really interesting. Now, I just got some sample bottles. I did ask if it would be possible to get a bottle, and because I know it's not sold anywhere but just Colorado and Nebraska, and you can see kind of like the spots on the map here. This is if you're in those areas, Colorado Springs area, Nebraska, pretty close to like the border of Iowa. This would be an easier bottle to find. But what we're really here for is the review, and that's a pretty cool history. A little bit about the whiskey itself. The whiskey does come from MGP. They are stored in what they call rare 30-gallon barrels made by the Barrel Mill. Now, I did do a search on the Barrel Mill in Minnesota Bottle House, and I think what makes I'm guessing here, but they are stored in 30-gallon American White Oak barrels with chars 2, 3, 4, and 5. My best guess on what 2, 3, 4, and 5 chars means is different chars on the staves slash barrel heads. They are aged for, I would assume, what Brandon told me, 4 years. So they're aged for at least 4 years. They are aged and produced from private label distillery in Colorado Springs, Colorado. They're matured at 6,436 feet in elevation. And it's in a ventilated, insulated, palletized warehouse that ranges from 38 degrees to 86 degrees between the winter and the summer, which is not like a crazy big difference or a super wide range in temperature. But so yeah, like I said earlier, I'm trying the higher rye bourbon and the American single malt, and so let's get into it. All right, so this is the higher rye bourbon, and I believe the mash bill with the higher rye is 75% corn, 20% rye, and 5% malted barley. So, which higher rye. He did put high rye. I wouldn't call that high rye. I mean, it's higher than their lower rye, which is at 12%, but 78% corn, 12% rye. But when I think of high rye, I think of at least 30%. But right from the beginning, the nose, there's a lot of sweet corn on the nose, and it smells very pleasant. I don't, with it being in 30-gallon barrels, I'm not sure what the how fast. Like, I know there's a little bit faster of an aging process, but I don't know how much faster it is between 30 gallons and a 53-gallon barrel. I wouldn't assume it's like crazy different, but so in 4 years it might give it an extra year and a half or two. I have no idea. I don't know how all that works, but a lot of sweet corn, and you get those quintessential bourbon notes as well, like a lot of vanilla, a little touch of caramel, but it smells so good. And it's 128 proof, so I am preparing to just kind of get thrown back in my seat here. So wonderful nose. So let's go in for a taste. Immediately, there's the heat. Are my eyes watering? Holy moly. That's good. Let me get acclimated a little bit, just as I would need to get acclimated to the elevation of Colorado. But no, the more I go back to it, I get that it's that sweet corn, but it's not a youthy sweet corn. It's not like a White Dog or a New Make kind of smell or taste. So I don't get any of that. So 4 years I think is right on. I would be interested what this would, like how much it would develop if there was a little bit of water in it, just to proof it down just a little bit. Maybe we'll do that in the next video. But no, this is delicious. This would be something that this would be something that I'd reach for. This would be something that I would share with friends who were maybe kind of more used to the proof point and could handle it. I wouldn't give this to I wouldn't give this to someone who's newer to bourbon. But no, this is the more I go back to it, it's good. Yeah, second sip is a lot more, or a lot less shocking to the system, I guess. No, overall, really, really good. Yeah, I would say you get a lot of those vanillas, those caramels, you know, caramel corn. This is really like a quintessential bourbon. Like, this is something that, if you think of bourbon, like, this is it. If you want something that represents that brand of whiskey, that's it. I think the barrel strength, what I saw online, as far as like in Colorado, a barrel strength bottle of 13th century whiskey was around 90. Would this be worth 90? In my opinion, I would say, yeah, this is really good. So if you're in Colorado, if you're in Nebraska, if you have friends in Colorado and Nebraska, I would say, you know, have them go check out their local stores. I know I saw in stock at Total Wine, and so I think it's probably pretty easily attainable, even though I'm not sure how much they put out per year. But I even with just a little bit left I have in the glass, like I could really smell that all day. It smells so good. And so I'm going to finish this, maybe give some final notes, then we'll move to the single malt. Yeah, it's really good. I really wish I had a full bottle of that, and not just about an ounce of a sample left. That's really good. If that is the higher rye, then I cannot wait for the 12% rye, 10% malted barley. And so let's go over. I know this is going to be a little bit of a change of pace for me, because I don't know if I've ever, I think the only single malt rye that I've had, or single malt that I've had, and this is 100% malted barley, is Balcones single malt, which I did not like, to be honest. Sorry, Kevin. I didn't like it. But let's go in and let's see what 13th Century has to offer with their American single malt. Yeah, automatically different. So I kind of get like, I mean, instantly I get that like more oakiness. And just kind of like an earthy tone. In some whiskeys I get like a musky oak or musky woody note, and this is kind of what I'm getting in that. So again, 128 proof American single malt. So let's go in for a taste. It's kind of the same notes. I get a little bit of smokiness, even though I don't think this is a peated whiskey. But yeah, so that same oakiness. It's kind of like a I guess I could describe it as like an antique oak. Kind of, I know I said like musky, but like I'll change that. I can change it. My opinion can change. And I'll say like antique oak. That sounds super classy. But yeah, same notes. Yeah, and this is not incredibly off-putting, especially to me. Like I'm not a single malt drinker. I do like the majority of the things that I have in my selection is bourbon. But I've noticed that I'm buying a lot more ryes lately, which is interesting. So, like maybe I'll explore into American single malts. I know that's, American single malt is kind of like an up and coming expression in the country, and so I know some other companies that are, what I hear are doing some good things, and so it's exciting to kind of see what we can do here in America. But no, so adjusting. The more the more it's a little bit more subtle. It's a little bit more sweet. Still get that oakiness. Let's go in for another taste. I do get a very like Scotch-esque taste, which is not off-putting at all. It's just like it's smoky. So if you like a little bit of smoky, but it's not like overpowering like a Lagavulin or like a typical like Scotch. Like this is good. I would say this is a very bourbon-friendly single malt. It's still sweet. You do get very earthy tones, so it seems like very organic, and overall solid. So these two samples were amazing. If you like more of that smoky flavor, with paired with those same kind of bourbon-esque notes, I would say that this is a very bourbon-friendly pour, even though this is probably not something that I would reach for. As far as cost-wise, I would imagine it is pretty similar to the cost of bourbon. But if you like, more subtle smoke, if you like more of those earthy tones, but still get a little bit of sweetness and oak, this is really good. And I'm not poised enough in American single malts or Scotch whiskeys that I would be like I would even begin to know what I'm talking about. And I love making these videos, and I'm so glad you're here. Brandon, thank you, 13th Century Whiskey. Thank you so much for sending me these samples. I have 2 more. I'm going to review 2 more, probably sometime in the next week, and hopefully I'm able to edit this and just do right by 13th Century Whiskey. Again, thank you so much. I can't say that enough. If you are new to the channel, please please subscribe. It really does help the channel so I can make more videos like this and create more great content. And until next time, we'll see you then. Cheers, everybody.